Hey, so we're going to talk about bass shakers today. Welcome to Brody's Cinnamon Tech. On my home theater tour, one of my projects that I mentioned that needed a separate video was bass shakers. I also stated it was one of the biggest bang for the buck changes that I've made. Last year, around the beginning of the summer, I decided to step up my bass game. I added two Emotiva Air Motive SE12s to go along with my Monoprice Premium Select 8 and Paradigm PDR10 subs. I put the SE12s in the front of the room and placed the Monoprice and the Paradigm subs in the rear corners. The subs went from decent to pretty awesome. They were very tight and punchy with decent low end and extension. But due to the concrete slab in my basement, I wasn't getting any shaking in my seats. Now, pretty awesome was cool, but not 100%. I was still missing the very low end that you can feel that I remembered from my car audio days. From what I could figure, I had two options. One, I could get some very powerful, larger subs that dig down really low and shake the foundation of my house, but there were a couple of pretty serious roadblocks there. One of them was more extreme subs would not only shake my foundation, but also my neighbor's foundations. The other drawback was the big one, budget. Now, my second option was look into adding some bass shakers. Needless to say, I went with door number 2 and went to my usual research spots, YouTube and my Facebook groups. In my research, it seemed to be a pretty constant theme that everyone was extremely satisfied with the results, and this was one of the biggest improvements they had made to their theater, especially for the money. There seemed to be plenty of ways to go. Dayton, Aura, butt kickers, Crosons, Clark, hoverboard, etc., etc., etc. Also a wide range of pricing. With my limited budget, I decided to give the Daytons a try. I have seating for 6 in my theater in a 3 love seat configuration. 2 plus 2 plus 2. My main listening position is 1 love seat, and the second row has 2 love seats, so 6 bass shakers were in order. So I got on Parts Express and ordered 2 Dayton Audio BS2s for $29.98 each for my main listening position. Amazon had a special on 4 Dayton Audio TS2516s for $52 for my back row, so I went ahead and ordered that. For my amplifiers, I ordered a Nobosound TPA 3116 for $46. It was rated at 100 times 2 max. Realistically, more like 50 times 2 in the 4 ohms for the front seats. And I also ordered a Nobosound NS03G mono amp for $46, rated at 100 times 2 in the 4 ohms. Realistically, more like 50 in the 1 into 4 ohms for the rear row. Now I had to figure out how to mount them to my seats, and I learned real quick just about every theater seat is different. Unless you have some high-end seats from Valencia, Seacraft, or other known brands, prepare to improvise. I got my seats off of eBay about 10 years ago from a guy in my area that needed them gone because he was moving. Long story short, I got all 3 for $350. I made out like a bandit because of the quality and the comfort of these seats. Like I said earlier, the seats are in a love seat configuration. They're zero-gravity manual recliners. They have a healthy steel frame that supports both seats, and the main support are 2 parallel bars, approximately 1 1/4 inch in diameter. My first thought was to mount the bass shakers to some wood and use some seat clamps or metal strap to connect them to the frame. That was the plan anyway. I got some 6-inch wide by 3/4 inch thick board that I had cut to six 10.5 inch pieces down at my friendly Home Depot. I mounted all the bass shakers to the wood with flathead Phillips screws. Once I fitted them up to the frame, they fit perfectly on the bars and locked into a bracket that holds the front panel. So I went all unconventional and zip tied them to the frames. I know, but hey, it worked. Remember, all seats can require different solutions to mount bass shakers. Another advantage that I would discover later is because of the steel zero gravity frames, I'm getting better energy transfer from the bass shakers. The BS2s in the front row are rated at 4 ohms, so I wired them separately to each channel on the stereo amp. The TS25s are rated at 16 ohms, so I found a wiring diagram on Parts Express and wired them to come out to 4 ohms and connected them to the mono amp. My Pioneer Elite receiver has 2 subwoofer outputs, and I already had my front subs wide off of output 1 and the rear subs wide off of output 2. So I wide off the front subs for the front row shakers and I wide off the rear subs for the back row shakers. The amps were placed in convenient locations so I can adjust the volume on the fly. I also used Casa smart plugs on each amp and added them to my Alexa routines so they go on and off with the theater. So how did they work out? Oh my God, wow, and all that good stuff. I wasn't ready. Nothing prepared me for the actual results. They weren't like earthquakes underneath your theater seats, unless there is an earthquake in what you're watching. By feeling the bass, it really draws you into a movie or concert or whatever you might be checking out that day. They augment your subs at even low to moderate levels, and at normal listening level, the tactile feel of them really trick your mind into thinking somebody snuck in and replaced your subs with 418s.
Oops, sorry, wrong subs.
I clearly remember watching an episode of Ahsoka when her and her droid came out of the space whale and started maneuvering a huge debris field. Holy kick in the butt, Batman. The tactile feel, along with my subs, drew you right into the debris field, right along with them. After using them for a while now, they are definitely a permanent part of my system. I will not be without them. Yes, they make that much of a difference. Total game changer. Now, I've seen some folks say that the BS2s don't go low enough. The Parts Express website specs the frequency response from 10 to 80 hertz. It absolutely feels like they're going pretty low to me. The website also states that the TT2516s only go down to 20 hertz. But on my second row, my subs are right behind the seats, and they act as near-field subs, plus the added bonus of the riser platform transferring the bass energy to the soles of your feet. Pretty awesome. By the way, check out my last video about how I made theater risers out of bed frames. A little bit of thinking out of the box going on there. Now, because of the experience with this budget system, am I open to upgrading one day? Absolutely. Price-wise, what did this project cost? I'm all in for about $260. That includes the bass shakers, amps, cables, smart plugs, wood, and zip ties. On the subject of zip ties, I did get a little rattle from one of the shakers in the back row in the first month. So I doubled up all of my zip ties, and since October, they've been all fine. Do I agree with all the videos and posts that scream about the tactile experience and immersion that bass shakers bring to the table? The answer is yes. Do I agree that bass shakers can be one of the best bang for the buck additions to any home theater? The answer is yes. So, has the addition of bass shakers been the best bang for the buck project in my home theater? The answer is a big, fat yes. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you hung around until now, please like and subscribe. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you in the next video.